Okay, this is Mike again. Gotta be like video 32 or 33. Here's the Mustang. As you can see, or maybe you can't see, I hate the iPad because you can't scale the video down. I'd really love to shrink this, but you can't. So I'll just kind of panorama it. I've got the rotisserie holding the back, jack stands holding the center part of the car, and I'll walk around all this pile of fenders and doors, and rotisserie holding the front. So that's my makeshift body jig for now. And the reason I need a body jig is because I'm going to take out the entire floor. And I was going to try to save it in sections, just do pans down the side, but looking at the floor as a whole, kind of a play on words, but it's thin. It's very thin. So while there may not be a lot of big gaping holes in the floor, there you can see some of the rust spots you've seen before. And there's some more, and that isn't white paint. That's light coming through the fender well. So while you can see that the floor pan is relatively solid, it's really not. It's thin as paper. And just where you think you've got thick metal, it disappears again. So rather than work all winter long on just patching a floor, I think I've made the decision to get an entire floor pan, which will end right back here where this seam is to the transition over the rear axle, and it will start up there where the holes are. That isn't white paint or pieces of stuff. That's actually light coming through. I will just, trans tunnel included, we'll cut this one out and put a whole new floor in, and put these seat platforms back down where they're supposed to be. And that's why I've got it set up on the jack stands, or on the jack stands instead of the rotisserie. Rotisserie actually was causing some more damage back here. The rear frame rails are gone, and this rotisserie mounts to those rear frame rails, and they're actually tearing away from the body. They're actually crumbling. So there's problems with holding it up with the rotisserie and moving it back and forth and trying to work on it that way. And until I can get those rear frame rails replaced, it's going to be a problem. So I just made the decision to do the floor first. And now that I've got it all supported without buying a bunch of steel and making a body cart or jig, this is going to work out really well. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. And I'll replace the floor, get it all done quick because that'll come out fast, and the new one will drop in and tack in fairly fast. Notice I said tack and not weld. I'm not going to weld anything until it all gets done. It's going to need both wheel tubs on both sides, inner and outer. It's going to need both trunk extensions, this piece, this transition piece across the back where they usually rust out, and I was really thinking I got something here where this one's not rusted out. That one's bent. and you can see it right there. You can see the bend up. So this thing had been hit fairly substantially in the back end. So all this is after the transition has got to come out. So wheel tubs, right and left, and the two fender drop-offs and the two frame rails. This back panel, the back cross member, all got to be replaced. But I'm going to do that once I get the floor. And if I go quickly on the floor, I can then do the other stuff relatively quickly. The back part. And then when I get the back part done, I will put the doors on it and then hang the rear quarters. And about then, we're back in business. We're ready to rock and roll and get this thing moving forward. Took some dents out over there. Not completely done, but that panel was semi-caved in. Not sure about the front frame rail quality. Those are a bunch of rust holes. That one a little worse than this one over here on the driver's side, although it's got its share of issues. Both of them. You know, there's not a panel I look at on this car that doesn't need something. But I think doing it this way with a full floor pan, and I thought about getting the one that runs from the firewall back, but for some reason it's like $2,300. and the full floor pan, the wheel tubs, and the trunk drop-offs, you add all that together, and that's not even $1,000. So I don't know why it's all that much more. Probably because it's all welded together and shipped as one, and you just push it up under the car and you're done. Somewhat. So that's it for now. I've got this fashioned. I might put a brace or two back on it. I think I can put the engine compartment braces back on it, and that'll hold it from shifting right to left like this. See my hand going like this. It'll keep that from shifting around back here, and I think I can weld in some braces back here to go from the divider, this framework, back here to the back to keep that located properly while I cut everything out. So here we go.